And what did the medical staff tell you eventually about your outlook? You know, your prognosis, they call it, don't they?
That's right. Prognosis.
How much was it? How much was the treatment successful, and what was the outlook for the future?
Well, I went into remission, so I got told, you know, it's great. Let's hope you stay in. You'll probably be. They didn't say you'll be in remission for 2 years, but the hope was I'd be in remission for 2 years. In actual fact, it was 3.5 years. So 3.5 years of, you know, of like no problems at all. And even when I went for you know, this sort of routine scan, I didn't really know there was much wrong. It was June 2009. I went for a routine scan. I had noticed a couple of things. I'd forgotten. I'd been to a wedding, whatever it was, to an Enderby church, and I went on my motorbike, took a rucksack on my back, and left the rucksack behind. I thought oh dear, you know. I remember forgetting things like that when I first had the symptoms, you know, in 2004. But it didn't really. It was only the one-off, so it didn't really bother me. My wife said as well, "You've forgotten it. You're not getting ill again, are you?" I said, "Well, I don't think so. I've got no headaches. You know, there's no other symptoms at all." But I had this scan in 2009. It said it's growing back already. It was the size of a sort of a large grape. So referred to the quick QMC again. But because I was a lot more aware of things, you know, more information, so I wasn't so panicky. And my consultant surgeon, Mr. Byrne, obviously I think he's a brilliant bloke because he's done 2 operations and I'm as well as I am. So, you know, fantastic guy. And he said, "Chris, you really don't need to be as worried as you were the last time. Not that there's not risk, of course there's risk, but operating this time is my bread and butter. You know, the last time it was a massive tumour, it went right into the middle of your brain, it was very difficult to carefully extract most of it. This time, it's a lot smaller and it's right under the bone. You know, so he says, it should not be so much of an invasive surgery or so difficult to get out. I don't want you to be thinking, oh, there's no problem. You know, there could be. You know, you could still die. There could be paralysis, whatever, the things you had before, but it's far less likely. And therefore I really felt nowhere near as scared as I did. I still prayed a lot, you know, please help. But
did that turn out to be the case? It was fairly routine.
It was fairly routine. I was the next day I was out of bed, you know, sort of walking to the toilet. So it was the time before. You know, I'd been in high dependency unit the first time, all night. I had couldn't sleep at all, you know, really couldn't sleep, you know, terrible, lots of pain, lots of beeping and noises going on around you. But this time I seemed to have a good night's sleep. And I guess I must have been on the HDU again, but I don't remember that. And no, I didn't. I went straight back to the ward. That's right. And say the next by the afternoon, I was up going to the toilet. You know, so I thought this is amazing. And the following day said, if you're well, the next day you can go home. So that was obviously really good. I still had to have no, I didn't. The latest chemotherapy, which is a sort of discovery since the first operation, which is, they call it chemotherapy wafers, and they put them into the tumour site. So they debulk as much as possible, and then they can put up to 6, I think they put 4, you know, around the tumour site. So it killed, they debulked and killed about 90% of it again. So it went down to about the size of a fingernail. But I then got told it had transformed to a grade 4. Although that wasn't quite the way it went, I think the way I was told. My consultant did say before the operation, these tumours, when they come back, have a habit of transforming. And it's possible that it has transformed into a worse type, which would be a grade 4. And he said, but let's hope that's not happened. And my wife said, is there any chance it's transformed for a better tumour, to a 2? And he said, well, in 100 cases, it would happen once or twice. He said, so it's extremely unlikely. It's far more likely if it transforms, it's going to be worse. But he didn't say it had transformed, so I wasn't aware that it had. And it was so I didn't have to have any sort of external chemotherapy, if you like, tablets or anything. I can't have any more radiotherapy because once you've had that 6 weeks, you can't have any more radiotherapy or X-rays because apparently it'll damage your brain. So I just had to wait. I had a scan in, it would have been probably October, saw my consultant in the November, and he then knew it was a grade 4. This is my Leicester consultant, Dr. Boyanju. And but when I saw him, he never said anything about it transforming into a grade 4. I think he just assumed that Mr. Bernard told me. So me and my wife were there, and he said, well, it's not quite been killed off, Chris. He said, obviously you remain very well, but it's not quite been killed off. So we need to give you some more chemotherapy. So I said, well, do I have to have it now? Because it was November. I said, can I, do you think I'm well enough to enjoy Christmas without any treatment? He said, yes, I don't want to spoil your Christmas, They're very good like that. They're very flexible. If they think you've got to have something desperately, you've got to have it. But if they think, well, it's not going to matter, a month's not going to matter, and you've got a holiday, you've got Christmas, they'll let you sort of have that time to enjoy with your family, and then so you can start it. So I started it in January. I had 9 months of, it's called PCV treatment, which again is fairly new. So it's 3 different types of chemo all together, given all together. But my consultant, Dr. Boyanju, said, I think this tumour is having an effect on you, and you may not be able to work as well as you were before.